Murray playing with a bit of a bad hip, and he hasn't been kicking the ball as deep as he would like. And he doesn't kick this one that deep either. It's at the 12-yard line. Harvey to the 20, to the 25. He's got the 36-yard line before he's brought down. Bruce McNorton made the stop for Detroit, a 25-yard return, and Tampa starts in good shape. A flag was thrown, however. Seems like that's the case on virtually every punt, every kickoff in this league.
Yeah, we saw an awful lot of them last week, didn't we?
Dale Hamer is our referee, and he'll let us know what's what.
On the return, by the receivers, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So that sets the Bucs back to the 26-yard line. Vinny Testaverde leads them out. This is a big year for him, Pat, huh?
Yeah, I really believe this is a watershed year for Vinny Testaverde. A #1 draft pick 4 years ago. A lot of expectations. Hasn't lived up to them. He has played brilliantly at times and poorly at times, and that's the frustration the people here in Tampa have with him.
Reggie Cobb and Gary Anderson, the running backs. It's Anderson. He gets to the 30-yard line, and no better than that. Once again, on the stop, Bruce McNorton. William White was there as well out of the secondary.
Well, you know, Skip, I think the difference for Vinny Testaverde this year is the surrounding cast that he has. You saw Gary Anderson there, but he's got a much better surrounding cast. He's got a tight end he can get the ball to in Ron Hall. He'll use Gary Anderson, Reggie Cobb, the #2 draft pick out of Tennessee. Mark Carrier's been a big receiver for him. So Testaverde doesn't have to do it all this year as he has in the past.
He's got a 2nd and 6 at the 30. Anderson again on the sweep. Not much more than the line of scrimmage. On the stop for Detroit, Dennis Gibson, a linebacker, along with George Jameson.
In the first game 2 weeks ago, Testaverde and this Buck team were sensational on 3rd down. They were in 15 third down situations, converted 10 of those. And that had to make Ray Perkins awfully happy. And the big featured receiver in this situation 2 weeks ago, was Gary Anderson. The Detroit Lions will double team Gary Anderson in situations like this tonight.
Mark Carrier comes wide left on 3rd and 5. He's their most prolific pass receiver. Hill in motion. He'll throw for it, 3rd and 5. Over the middle, a big shot that it was intended for Hill. But the play was broken up. Once again, Bruce McNorton. So Tampa Bay will kick it away. Mel Gray will be deep. Mark Royals will punt it. Gray is a good one out of Purdue. He's at the 25. No big rush. And Gray will have a chance to return it from the 31. He breaks one tackle and runs out of room at the 35-yard line. Swarming defense. Odie Harris with the first man down there, a 38-yard kick, 4-yard return. Rodney Peete leads his team on. He has started both games in great fashion, but then has sort of petered out as the game has gone on.
You didn't really mean that, I know.
No, I didn't.
Yes, but the first half, again, 2 weeks ago, in his first 11 passes, he completed 8 of them, threw a touchdown, and then the second half was really a nightmare. He got sacked 5 times, fumbled a couple times, threw an interception. And Wayne Fonte says, I need a complete game out of Rodney Peete tonight.
Clark and Greer are the wide men. From the 35, Sanders, nothing. He made it 2 yards. In on the stop, Broderick Thomas, the second-year man out of Nebraska. His 11th tackle of the year. He was helped by Reuben Davis.
You know, Barry Sanders had that sensational year last season, 1,400 yards, and say what you will about the run and shoot. It turned out to be a much better running formation last year for the Detroit Lions than a passing formation, but no surprises this year for Barry Sanders. The Bucs actually will have, at times, 7 people actually keen in watching Barry Sanders.
Second down and about 8 yards to go. Again, Greer comes wide right. Aubrey Matthews in the slot to that side. Richard Johnson splits to the slot on the left side. Robert Clark over there as well. Peete will throw. The silver stretch into the flat. Johnson across the 45 to the 46-yard line. 9-yard pickup.
So much has been made, Skip, of this run and shoot and what it is. And What it is, they don't have a tight end, and they only have one back. They've got two receivers to one side, two to this side. One man is usually always in motion, and the idea is to stretch the defense and find zones over the middle. As we said a year ago, quite honestly, it was a better running formation because they take huge line splits and clear out some lanes for Barry Sanders.
Boy, they spread out the field. Matthews in motion. 1st and 10 from the 45. Out it comes to Matthews, and he gets about 3. Aubrey Matthews, the former Packer, the former Falcon.
Yeah,
he didn't get much.
Yeah, you're right. Aubrey Matthews is a guy, Skip, they feel very happy about having a Plan B transfer from the Green Bay Packers. Actually was a starter a year ago for the Packers when they started the preseason opposite Sterling Sharp. They think he was a steal in the Plan B free agency. They're expecting big things of him tonight, as a matter of fact.
They give him 4 yards, 2nd and 6, the situation. Richard Johnson in motion right. Sanders, as always, the only running back. He stays in to block, and Peete gets sacked. Sanders couldn't get it done. Winston Moss got there out of the University of Miami, the 4th-year man.
You know, one of the things about the one-back situation in the run and shoot, the tailback has to be a blocker. 2 weeks ago, Barry Sanders let his man sack Rodney Peete twice. That time, Winston Moss went right over Barry Sanders to make the sack. So there's some good things about this formation, but there's some real liabilities. Your tailback has to block guys like Winston Moss to keep him off your quarterback.
Clark wide left, Greer wide right, 3rd and 11, possession play. Matthews in motion. Peete rolls right, little screen, he's got Sanders. Breaks one tackle, gets to the 45, he's a yard and a half short of the first down. Detroit will have to give it up, a 10-yard pickup. Eugene Marv out of Saginaw Valley made the stop.
You talk to defensive coaches, and they seem to think that the most difficult play to defend is actually the screen out of this run and shoot, because your down linemen are coming upfield to rush the passer. Your defensive backs are running off with 4 or 5 wide receivers, and then you dump the ball off there. But nice inside reaction by Eugene Marv, whose responsibility really is to key on Barry Sanders.
Willie Drury is the deep man. Jim Arnold will kick it away. 9:50 remaining in a scoreless first quarter. Pat Haden, Skip Caray with you from Tampa Stadium. A good kick. It may make the end zone. It may not. It's down by Detroit at about the 2-yard line. It was Chris Oldham, the cornerback, who got there to make the play. So not much in the way of good field position for Tampa Bay. We'll be back right after this. The ball is marked at the 3-yard line, and that's where the Buccaneers will go to work. No score in this ball game. 9:32 left in our first quarter. Both these teams have been very effective with their first drive of the ball game in their first 2 games, but not tonight. Both were stopped cold.
Well, and this is really a depleted defense of the Detroit Lions. They are missing 2 of their best players on defense. Their nose tackle, Jerry Ball, is playing with an injury. Benny Blades is not playing with a knee injury. Their free safety, and Chris Spielman, the inside linebacker, is not playing either.
Carrier splits wide left, Hill to the right. First down from the 3-yard line. The give is to Cobb, and he gets only to the 6. Toby Castone made the stop, gain of 3.
Talk about defensive woes that this Lion team faces. There's Chris Spielman. He is a well-kept secret, I think, in the NFL. The NFC's Defensive Player of the Week a week ago. It just really plays from sideline to sideline, can play pass coverage, can play inside and outside. You're going to miss him tonight.
Carrier wide left. He's played by the veteran Leroy Irvin. Hall, the tight end, goes in motion right. The give to the second man through. Anderson gets out across the 10 to the 11. He's about 2 yards short of the first down. Mark Spindler makes the stop.
And there's Benny Blades, the outstanding free safety of the Detroit Lions, is out. Wayne Fonts was saying last night about Benny Blades, he said, we are really going to miss this guy. He can be another Ronnie Lott. Hurt the knee last week. He'll be out 4 weeks. And Wayne Fonts, the head coach, is concerned about the middle of his defense. Blades is out. His inside linebacker and his nose tackle is injured. So the middle of the defense can be soft.
Third down, 2 yards to go. Let's see if Testaverde puts it up. He's deep in his own territory at the 11. No, the run, a sweep, almost fumbled, and I don't think he got there. It was Reggie Cobb, the youngster out of Tennessee.
Now, the biggest problem with the Buck team a year ago was they could not run the ball well, and particularly critical downs when you really need a 3rd and 2, short yardages, and on first down. And what you see are an awful lot of Lion defenders who are making penetration. Cofer, number 55, is down the backside. Jerry Ball, the injured nose tackle, makes a play. There is Keith Ferguson. 4 or 5 blue jerseys making the play.
Back live, Mel Gray is the deep man. A terrible kick by Royal. Fair catch called for and made by Gray at the 49, and so Detroit will set up shop in Tampa Bay territory. A little extracurricular activities out there. The officials take care of that. Just a 37-yard punt. We'll be back after this from your local sponsor. There's an interesting graphic in the first quarter. The Bucks defense has been very stingy. Their offense has been quite good. The defense has been all right tonight, but the offense hasn't been able to get anything going. Neither has Detroit's.
Well, in the first game, though, the defensive players, the Bucks said, hey, we were surprised at the speed Detroit ran this silver stretch offense. And they scored bang, bang twice in their first 2 series.
Here we go again with the silver stretch, which is another term for the run and shoot. Rodney Peete still at the control. No score in our ball game. He rolls left, has a man. That's complete to Johnson, and he got buried. Richard Johnson really got socked. The hit by Wayne Haddix out of Liberty College. Boy, he blasted it.
Well, that's what's going to happen in this run and shoot. It forces your defensive backs to be good tacklers, because you have a lot of small, quick receivers out in open space. And if you don't make tackles like this, you give up a lot of yards after the catch.
Richard Johnson spent the last couple of years working for IBM. He may be on the phone tomorrow if he gets hit like that again. He goes wide to the right. Peete rolls that way.
Batted down by Reuben Davis, number 79. Here's a guy in this Buck defense. They don't have any terribly dominating defensive players, but this defense plays well together, and they play intelligently. They know Rodney Peete is going to take a short drop, and if they can't sack him, you get those big hands up. And an offensive lineman actually have to, I think, get lower and cut those defensive ends to keep their hands down.
So another possession play for Detroit here. It's 3rd down and 8 yards to go. Will they run the draw to Sanders? Johnson in motion. He'll throw for it. He's got time. He's got a man out of bounds at the 25. It was Terry Greer out of Alabama State. He was run out over there, but not before he got the first down at the 30-yard line.
Well, that is an awfully nice throw and nicely timed by Rodney Peete. And you can say what you will about offenses. The idea in offense is to give your guys who can make big plays a chance with the ball in the open field. And that is the theory, the purpose of this run and shoot offense.
19-yard gain, first down at the 25. Aubrey Matthews goes wide left. Sanders cuts in, stumbles at the 16-yard line. He almost broke it for the distance.
Yeah, you know, you're right. He is so much fun to watch. If you're bringing your kid to your first football game and you wanted to see a terrific tailback and a good role model, you'd come to see Barry Sanders. And the thing I think that separates him apart from most guys is he can run east and west but still gain yards. A lot of guys stutter around, they'll run east and west and gain a yard. Not Barry Sanders. He still has the kind of play. He'll run left and then cut upfield for 6.
2nd down, a yard to go. Johnson in motion left. The give straight ahead. Sanders first down and more to the 10-yard line. Broderick Thomas made the stop, but not before the Lions reached the 10, and they'll set up shop there. Looks like just outside the 10. So they can, it would appear, they can get a first down without scoring, but it would be a narrow thing.
The thing about Barry Sanders, too, is if you watch his eyes, I mean, he has such a presence, and you talk about running backs having vision. And Barry Sanders is much like that because he can see really from sideline to sideline. He senses people where they are. He has a great feel and presence for himself, and has that great cutback ability.
Johnson in motion right. Peete out to Sanders. He's run out of bounds at the 9. I don't know how Peete got rid of that ball. Harry Hamilton ran Sanders out, but Peete really paid the price as they tried to run a little option.
Yeah, you know, interestingly enough, as Peete goes down the line of scrimmage, in the first game, Rodney Peete was knocked dingy on this same kind of play, down by the goal line. And give Jim Scow, number 71, a player who's just traded from Cincinnati, some credit there for really taking that option play away.
And Winston Moss is the guy that put the hit on Peete.
But it was interesting, the first game, after Peete was hit on the option play, he didn't play well after that.
2nd and 7 from just outside the 7. Greer in motion to the right. Way wide right. Sanders. Look at him juke. He's at the 5. Out of bounds at the 2.5. Ricky Reynolds ran him out. He didn't make a big gain, but that's a sensational run.
He's going to make some of the best 4- and 5-yard runs that you're going to see. And we talked about vision, that good running backs are able to see not only their blockers and sense where their blockers are, but also defensive players as well. And he just has that ability to take the ball on a draw play like this, read the block of the center, there's nothing inside, and then he just sets up defenders. You think you have him, and then he'll just break outside.
3rd down and 2 from just outside the 2. Sanders, no chance. Down at the 7, flag on the play. Kurt Jarvis got there. I thought I saw a flag fly, so let's see. Holding against Detroit. Now a decision for Tampa. I rather imagine they'd refuse it.
Holding, number 53 of the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
So that makes the choice easy for Wayne Fonts. He goes to his field goal team.
Well, even though they are forced to go for the field goal, Skip, it was a nice drive by their offense. They had a nice little rhythm there, and what they did well is mix Barry Sanders on traps and draws and throw the ball pretty effectively.
Jim Arnold holds it. Eric Sanders will snap it, and Eddie Murray will try his first attempt of the year. He's got a bad hip. 25-yard field goal is good, and the first points of the game belong to the Lions. They couldn't punch it in, but they lead 3-0.
Eddie Murphy still has no points this year.
And will probably wind up that way. We'll be back right after this. Big crowd here, 50,000 or so. That's their first nationally televised game in Tampa Bay in about 7 years. Eddie Murray, out of Tulane, will kick it off. He's made 13 in a row. Danny Peebles, the deep man, in the middle. He's flanked by Reggie Cobb and John Harvey. Cobb wears 33, Harvey 26.
And the 21 there on his sock is in memory of Terry Taylor, the defensive back, who was really suspended because of the drug situation this week.
Here's the kick. Not too deep, and it's John Harvey. And he gets to the 28-yard line before a host of tacklers, Tracy Hayworth among them, bring him down. 22-yard return. So Tampa down 3-0 will go to work. 3:29 left in the first quarter.
And you see Vinny Testaverde trot on. He has really taken a lot of criticism here in town and over the years. The #1 draft pick out of Miami 4 years ago. And his first 3 years in the league, they kind of gave him the ball and said, Vinny, go win the game. This is the first year, I think, he has the surrounding talent to prove what kind of quarterback he is, and that's why I think it's a watershed year for Testaverde.
Reggie Cobb, the only back behind Testaverde. Anderson flanked to the right. Cobb gets the football, but breaks one tackle, but there's nothing there. Flags all over the place. George Jameson finally made the stop, along with William White.
There's an illegal block, I think, there by the wide receiver of the Bucs.
There's the flag right in the midst of the action.
And there's Jerry Ball in the midst of the screen. You can't miss him, number 93.
Illegal block. Number 40 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It was Gary Anderson, the running back, who was flanked to the right, who was guilty of the infraction.
Well, it's interesting when teams play each other this quickly. And again, they played 2 weeks ago. It's interesting the adjustments that this Lion defense has made. So thus far, they've really taken away Gary Anderson, who was such a big factor in the first game when he had 150 total yards.
Mark Carrier splits wide to the left. 1st and 20 for the Bucs. Pound, nothing there. Spins away and perhaps gets a yard out of it. Michael Kofer makes the stop. He's out of Tennessee, and he's a good one. The crowd is not in awe of the play selection here. They want him to air it out, but they never get to the last year of their contract.
You're right. You know, Skip, one of the fun things is you watch number 93, Jerry Ball, and Randy Grimes, number 60, go out one another. It's kind of a subplot of this game. A matchup between Jerry Ball and Randy Grimes. These guys go at one another 2 times a year, and they have a great deal of respect for one another.
Wow. Boy, he's got forever. Flat pass and nothing there.
Yeah.
He waited and waited. George Jameson made the hit on Reggie Cobb.
And you begin to hear the boo birds, and I think part of the situation is I think fans all around the league get used to coming home on Sunday afternoons and watching highlights, and they see Dan Marino or Joe Montana throw 4 or 5 touchdowns, and they say, why can't my quarterback do that? Well, first of all, they don't see all the bad plays those quarterbacks have, and I think, again, I believe you're going to see Vinny Testaverde have some remarkable throws, make throws that nobody else can make tonight.
He's in the shotgun on 3rd and about 14. He's going to run out of the pocket now. He throws. It's Caray. He may have fumbled the football at the 40. Let's see what they call. They're going to give him a reception, and he appears to have a first down. Bruce McNorton, Leroy Irvin on the stop. They got just enough.
Yeah, wonderful second effort here by Mark Carrier, because, Skip, I think he was actually stopped before the first down and then kind of lunged, but wonderful protection. Remember, the Lions didn't get to Testaverde in that first game. First, a one-handed stab. Now watch as he reaches the ball out. When he reached the ball out, that got the first down. That's a nice play by Carrier, and we've seen him catch the ball across the middle. 86 catches a year ago, and a lot of them on plays just like this.
Carrier takes a little time getting to his feet, but he does so now. It was Leroy Irvin who made the hit. This guy's a quality player you seldom see. We'll be back. The Bucs have registered their first down. They start at the 40. Testaverde play action, throws low and incomplete, intended for Hill. Bruce Hill, the pass was a little bit low for him. Carrier being checked out. He'll be back in there in a moment. Last year he had 86 catches for 1,422 yards, Mark Carrier. He's a well-kept secret because these guys don't often get on national TV.
Yeah, they have some very good players, Mark Carrier being one of them. I think the offensive line is awfully strong. People talk about the Redskins and the Bears and the Rams offensive lines, but this Buccaneer offensive line, I think, is one of the best.
Willie Drury splits wide left. He's in Carrier's slot. Hall, the tight end, in motion. The give is to the first man through. That's Cobb, and he gets to the 43-yard line. Reggie Cobb has been held well in check tonight. Toby Castone made the stop, the former LSU player.
And that's a shot of Wayne Fonts in his second year as the head coach of the Lions. Came from the defensive side of the ball, and I think it's kind of interesting. If you look at run-and-shoot teams, Houston and Detroit, the two head coaches have been defensive coaches, and they've opted for the run-and-shoot offense. I think which tells you something. It's hard to defend.
John Harvey is checked in the game at running back. He's a good pass receiver. It's 3rd and 7. Reggie Cobb does 9 yards on 4 carries. Testaverde has some time and has a man. It's Anderson, and he's down close to the 40-yard line. McNorton on the stop. First down, 17 yards. Crowd going nuts.
Gary Anderson adds a dimension to this Tampa team that they have not had since Vinny Testaverde has been here, and that is an absolute threat out of the backfield. Now, McNorton tried to fake a blitz so that Anderson would stay in and block him, but Anderson ran right by him. And not only can he run good routes, he has superb hands.
And the first quarter comes to a close. The Lions have the lead, but the Bucs have the ball and appear to be driving. We'll be back. Mark Carrier back in the game as the Bucs go to work. From the 41 in Detroit territory. Reggie Cobb, still not much there for him. He gets perhaps to the 38-yard line.
Well, you know, this Lion defense has really stuffed the run on first down, and they put Testaverde in 2nd and long and 3rd and long all night thus far.
Jimmy Williams made that stop. 2nd down, 7 yards to go.
Number 70, Dan Owens, is now playing nose guard for Jerry Ball. Number 2 draft pick out of Southern Cal. Been a big surprise for the Lions.
2nd and long. Make it 2nd and 8 to be precise. Testaverde on the give. Looked like Reggie Cobb to the 35-yard line. That's who it was. Tell you what, we have to be honest. This is about as close to heaven as I'm likely to get. People look like ants down there.
We are a long way. They need numbers at the top of the helmets, I'm afraid. This is the site of the next Super Bowl coming up in January. I know you'll be here and looking forward to that, Skip.
Oh, yeah?
They haven't told you yet, huh?
Are we doing that one, too?
Yeah, absolutely.
3rd down. 9th play of the drive for the Bucs. Again, they keep it on the ground. Anderson, flags fly, and he's well short of the first down. He's knocked down at about the 37-yard line by Chris Oldham, the rookie out of Oregon, and the crowd doesn't like the call. And let's see about the flag.
And neither do I like to call it. At some point, you have to say, even though it's 3rd down and 3rd and long, you got to get the ball in the air. Now, Vinny Testaverde has all those new weapons.
Holding. Number 72 of the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Rob Taylor, the guilty party. It's declined anyway, and Christie in to kick it away.
You know, they really haven't had much success running the football. They thought they could against the nickel there, but I think it's clear now that the Bucs are not going to be able to run the ball with any sort of success tonight. So again, it's going to fall back on Testaverde, its wide receivers, and Gary Anderson.
They're going to try the field goal. Royals will hold it. Christie will kick it. It'll be 54 if he gets it. Yes. They credit him with 55. We'll be back. Mel Gray is the deep man. It's a 3-3 ball game. 13:03 left. Steve Christie will kick it off. That 55-yard field goal ties a Buck team record. Here's the kick. It's fielded at the 15. Running with the football is Jeff Campbell, and he's out across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Ricky Reynolds ran him out of bounds.
You know, Skip, you are right. The reason they kept Steve Christie was because he's a much better from long distance, they believe. They had Donald Igwebuike, who was so good short term, but they hope Christie can make field goals like this. That one had a huge draw, and it started at about 10 yards to the right of the uprights, but drew right in.
Great camera work there. That's the margin by which he made the kick. So Rodney Peete brings his troops out. Robert Johnson in motion to the right. Sanders, loose football. Let's see who got it. The Bucs feel like they do. If it's up to the Bucs, they have the ball, but it isn't, so let's hold the phone.
Well, this is what has plagued, I think, both run-and-shoot teams in the NFL this year. Turnovers and sacks. Now, that turnover was not caused by the formation itself. Now there's a flag, yeah.
It's a gang fight at the bottom of that flag.
It is. Wow. So I wonder what the penalty's about, Skip. Yeah, Barry Sanders just dips it. It was Keith McCants, number 52, who caused the fumble.
And I think he got the football as well, Pat.
Yeah, either he or John Cannon. He had 6 turnovers in the first game, and then the fumble there tonight. And Keith McCants, the 4th pick in the draft, number 52, a risky pick somewhat for Ray Perkins. It's begin to coming on.
We have an unsportsmanlike conduct foul. Number 39 in the white. 15-yard penalty. First down, Tampa Bay.
Harry Hamilton is called for the foul. Keith McCants is the hero of the moment.
Well, he is the guy who said this week, I really believe I should be playing more. Drafted is the 4th player overall. And what they want Keith McCants to be able to do this year is to create turnovers, rush the passer. And he created the turnover right there.
Jerry Ball checks back into the game defensively for Detroit. It's 3-3, but momentum has switched toward the Bucs from their 46. Cobb cuts back, not much there. Michael Cofer made the stop again.
It just seems to me if they're stuffing the run that well, there's got to be somebody open on a play-action pass, Skip. If there's that many blue jerseys around the ball carrier immediately after the handoff, you got to think if you fake the handoff, someone's going to be open downfield.
You know, if you'd have been able to figure things out like that when you were playing, you'd
it's a lot easier. You know, it's a lot easier up here.
Second down, 8 yards to go from the 49. 2 tight ends in there, Hall and Anderson. He's going to put it up. He runs out of the pocket, and he hook slides down and around the 40. 2-yard line.
And did Toby Caston, number 50, think that he had Vinny Testaverde on a sack? It's one of those old high school plays, you know. You fake the throw. The defensive man goes up. That's number 50, Caston. He thought he was going to block that. And then Testaverde, for a big guy, has some pretty good foot speed.
Jimmy Williams finally covered it. It's enough for a first down. 11:25 left in the half. 3-3 our score. Gary Anderson flanks to the right. Reggie Cobb, the sole running back. Cobb out of the backfield, but they throw long. It's dropped. Mark Carrier had it and lost it. Herb Welch out of UCLA was covering.
One of those subplots we talked about, Jerry Ball and Randy Grimes. Look how close Jerry Ball is to the center of it. Somebody's got to be offsides there, Skip. One of them. I'm not sure it's offense or defense, but these guys have tremendous respect for one another. Grimes said yesterday about Jerry Ball, you better play as well as you possibly can or you're going to end up with a long headache for about 3 weeks. He looks a little bit like a garbage truck with pads.
Second down. 10 yards to go from the 43. 3-3 ball game. All alone. Carrier. Bruce McNorton made the stop. Boy, if he could have kept his feet, he might have had a touchdown. 14-yard pickup. McNorton fell down.
You're right, but the thing is, although this is a completion, Vinny Testaverde is not throwing the ball as accurately as he can. Mark Carrier is a great guy for adjusting routes. Doesn't have absolutely blazing speed, but what you like about him is his determination once the ball is in the air. Can make some wonderful adjustments.
Carrier 2 catches, 29 yards. Anderson flanks wide left. Still Reggie Cobb is in there at setback. First down, Bucs. Looking pattern to Carrier, and that'll be interference on the veteran. Leroy Irvin.
Well, unless he got him with the left hand, Skip, it looked like a nice play to me.
Irwin doesn't look too thrilled about it. He's an 11-year man.
Pass interference. Number 47 of the defense. First down.
I don't know on that one, Skip. I don't think that was interference, quite honestly. It looks like he came right around with the right hand and knocked it down. That's a nice play by Leroy Irvin.
Wayne Fonts agrees with you, but a first down at the 13-yard line.
And we saw Everson Walls a couple of weeks ago that the Dallas Cowboys didn't want. Leroy Irvin is a man that the Los Angeles Rams gave up on. A second life for Irvin, has played very well in the first 3 weeks.
Carrier wide right. Good. Anderson, not much there. He gets to the 10-yard line. Toby Castone on the stop. I'll tell you a funny story about Castone. He was known as, last name pronounced as Caston for a few years. Went to a party down in Louisiana with some of his relatives, found out they pronounced it Castone, so he said, okay.
Yeah, well, Tony Dorsett changed his name, and it was Joe Theismann for a while, wasn't it?
It was.
What were you, Skip Caray?
No, a long time ago, it used to be Carabana or something like that, I think. Meanwhile, back at the game, Anderson flanks left. Pop, nothing there. No gain at all. Jimmy Williams out of Nebraska made the stop. He's a linebacker.
Yeah, these outside linebackers for the Detroit Lions, we talked about well-kept secrets in Mark Carrier. People don't get a chance to see Detroit much, but they've got some wonderful outside linebackers in Jimmy Williams and Mike Kofer on the other side. George Jameson plays some outside as well. These guys, Williams in his 9th year has really played well, generally over the tight end.
Frank Pillow makes his first appearance of the night. He's a wide receiver, and John Harvey into the backfield. He's a good pass catcher. 3rd down, 7 yards to go from the 10. A lot of time. Batted down. And a good play there by Dan Owens.
Yeah, that's a nice play by Dan Owens. You see him, you see Dan Owens. Dan Owens knows he can't get to Vinny Testaverde. Dan Owens is right here, and he knows he can't get to him, so he just kind of stops in the middle of the coverage, drops back, and makes the play. That's a heads-up play. It actually ends up like a middle linebacker.
Christie will attempt the field goal. 27-yarder is on the way and good. So the Bucs have their first lead of the night. 6-3 is our score. We have 8:52 remaining in the first half of play. We'll be back to Tampa Stadium right after this. Mel Gray is the deep man. Christie approaches the football, and it's a line drive that bounces around into the end zone, and Gray will down it there. So Detroit will start at the 20-yard line. We have 8:44 remaining in the first half. We'll be back right after this from your local sponsor. Coming up, the Nissan Halftime Report. Host Fred Hickman along with Ernie Johnson Jr. and Ken Stabler will have all the updates for Week 3 in the NFL. Once again, a Paul Ryden Rye original, The First Fan.
You know who played with Kenny Stabler at Alabama? Oh, a lot of guys, but Ray Perkins was one of them, yes.
I didn't expect you to make me name all of them.
It looks like he's weathered the storm a little better, too.
Maybe so. Peete rolls left. Down the sideline, had a man, and he dropped it. Clark was there, the pass was there, but the youngster couldn't hang on. Perfect throw, hit him right in the hand.
You know, as you watch this run-and-shoot offense, there's Mouse Davis, who's really been working on, he's the offensive coordinator. Andre Ware, number 11, is next to him. Mouse Davis has been working on this for about 30 years, starting when in high school. But when you ask yourself, hey, why don't teams run the 2-minute drill all the time? Well, that's what this is. It's the 2-minute drill all the time.
Johnson in motion. Peete is 5 out of 7 for 47 yards, and that one should have been caught. He goes long, and he overthrew it.
Yeah.
Again, it was Robert Clark out of North Carolina Central.
And that has been the disappointment of Rodney Peete thus far this season. He's had brilliant moments, but he has a wide receiver wide open. Robert Clark on probably the easiest throw for a quarterback to make on a little corner route, and he misses him. You just can't do that in the NFL because that is wide open.
He had beaten Keith McCants by about 4 yards.
You know, Keith McCants shouldn't be Gardner.
Matthews in motion. Possession play for Detroit. Peete has time. He will run. Great cut. Dives for the first down at the 33-yard line, 34-yard line. 14-yard scramble for a first down.
And that is what Wayne Fonts likes about Rodney Peete, his ability to hang in there, make some plays. And whether he's running it or at times throwing the ball tonight. We've seen him throw some balls into some key areas. There's a nice block here by number 20, Barry Sanders. Nice tackle, I guess, by Barry Sanders. But again, Rodney Peete read that block well, ran right behind it.
7:55 left in the half. The Bucs lead it 6-3. Detroit has the ball at their 35. Sanders, he is buried for a 2-yard loss. John Cannon out of William & Mary, a 9-year man, made the initial hit. Eugene Marv was in on it as well.
Well, while Barry Sanders is looking at the defense, there are about 5 or 6 defensive players looking at him. And this is part of the problem. Everybody is keying on him. Eugene Marv, number 99, basically his assignment tonight is to basically mirror Barry Sanders.
Under pressure, threw it low. Big pressure put on by the Buccaneers.
Right, and that really shouldn't happen because there's only 3 men rushing Rodney Peete.
Kurt Jarvis got in there.
Yeah, and you have 5 blockers on Jarvis, on Cannon, and Reuben Davis. And yet they made the play. So you know Kurt Jarvis as a nose tackle is getting double teamed, but he still made the sack or the hit.
Possession play, 3rd and 11. The old silver stretch is not getting it done yet. Peete has to unload. Sanders dancing, first down. Boy, he is some back. Looks like he's jitterbugging out there.
Yeah.
Makes you miss. Mark Robinson, the safety, made the stop.
Well, he makes you miss because he's got tremendous balance. And one of the things we talked about, the screen pass, how it's difficult to defend in this run and shoot. Picks up a couple of nice blocks by his receivers. But he can move with his shoulders in one direction or the other and throw off a defender and then still burst through him. Look at his legs. Look how thick his thighs are. They're like, as big as the state of New Hampshire there.
From the 48-yard line, Sanders again. He gets about 6. Winston Moss on the stop, but they're into Tampa Bay territory. A lot of time left, 6:05 remaining in the first half of play.
You know, although this run and shoot has only put up the 3 points tonight, I think when you show a team, a defensive team, that you're not afraid to pass anytime, anywhere, I think you become a consistent threat to run the ball. That's what happened last year with Barry Sanders, and we've seen it somewhat tonight.
2nd down, 3 yards to go. Terry Greer, wide right, trips to the left, but now Johnson goes in motion right. It was intended for Johnson. And diving for the interception, Broderick Thomas.
Now, Broderick Thomas is the other side of the equation of Keith McCants. We talked about McCants earlier. Number 51, Broderick Thomas, the #1 draft pick a year ago. They need to have a season out of him. This is kind of the same pass that was intercepted last week in Houston when Pittsburgh picked it off of Warren Moon. Just a little slot pass. They couldn't get it there, but Broderick Thomas, number 51, they're expecting him to put a lot of heat and pressure on the quarterback this season.
3rd and 3. Jeff Campbell, the man in motion. Peete has a lot of pressure. He beats it. He's got acres in which to run. 14-yard line. Irvin Randall was the one who chased him out of the pocket.
Well, you're right, it's acres. You know, if you were in Green Bay, it would be frozen tundra. But here, it's acres. And, again, they had this pretty well defensed. They really did. Seals, number 98, should have kept containment, but Irvin Randall really had a clean shot at him. But, again, the athleticism of Rodney Peete for the 2nd time in this drive keeps this drive alive.
They mark it at the 15-yard line. A 31-yard scramble for Peete. Aubrey Matthews goes in motion right. Peete looks, throws. Matthews, not much. Broderick Thomas there on the hit.
Well, this is where I think, too, I think it becomes increasingly difficult for run-and-shoot teams and silver stretch, whatever you want to call it, to score inside the 15-yard line. Because you start with a theory of stretching this entire defense. Fred Rooney there on the right, the defensive coordinator, but there's not as much field to stretch down here.
Second down, 8 yards to go. Matthews in motion. Sanders is buried in the backfield. Flags fly. John Cannon made the stop. You'd figure it to be a hold, but let's wait and see.
Well, I tell you. Yeah, John Cannon has hustled every down of his 9-year career.
It is holding against Detroit. Now a decision for the Buccaneers.
Holding, number 75 of the offense. The penalty is declined. Third down.
Lomas Brown, the guilty party, and he's an outstanding player.
Here is John Cannon. He is just going to beat the block very quickly right here because he gets off in the snap count. We talked about him hustling his entire 9-year career. One of those nondescript players that just gives you everything he has every single down.
3rd and 8 from the 16. Peete. Out of the end zone.
Well, if you can't find somebody open with that much coverage, there must be very good coverage.
Robert Clark was the man nearest that ball, but he threw it away. He could find nobody home. So Eddie Murray will come out and try to kick a field goal to tie the game.
And here's the coverage. Keith McCants, number 52, just kind of turns his back to the quarterback. You have two defensive backs and a linebacker. It's a 3-on-2 defensively, and that's good coverage by the Bucs.
33-yard field goal try. Eric Sanders will snap it. Jim Arnold will hold it. Eddie Murray will kick it. We've got ourselves a tie ball game with 3:32 remaining in the first half. 6-6 is our score. Back to Tampa Stadium right after this. Eddie Murray will kick it off. He's got a hip problem, as we mentioned earlier, and while he's been perfect on 2 field goals tonight, his kickoffs have been rather short. Peebles is right about the 5-yard line waiting for the kick.
Well, you know, you think about this game, 6-6 with 3:31 left in the half. Today, again, the third week, I think it's been all defense thus far this season in the NFL.
Low line drive this time, bounces around, and Peebles comes out of there with it at the 25, 28. James Wilder, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer for many years, who signed as a Plan B guy with Washington this year, was traded to Detroit, made the stop.
Yeah, you're right. When you think of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at least when I do, I always think of James Wilder was really their guy for the past. There's number 34. Their leader at Tampa Bay Bucs, all-time leader in rushing and receiving. Had a wonderful career here. A great special teams player, even when he was a star tailback for the Bucs.
They mark it at the 29-yard line. Anderson, nothing there. Maybe to the 42, and he ran into all sorts of folks. Michael Kofer was there again.
Well, big day for field goal kickers. Kevin Butler won the game. Noel Miller with the 4 field goals. Their offense didn't score a touchdown, the Redskins. Darrell Green scored one in return, and we've seen 4 more field goals tonight.
2nd and 7. Reggie Cobb, the lone setback behind Testaverde. He throws, tight end, Hall to the 39-yard line. Ron Hall. He's the guy out of Hawaii who, to help with his concentration, walked barefoot across the burning coals when he was over there.
I've never understood that. How does that help you catch passes?
Well, it helps your concentration. It means he's an absolute space cadet, is what it means.
You put a guy like that on special teams, is what you do. But he is one of the new weapons that that Vinny Testaverde has at his disposal. Caught a long touchdown pass in the first game against Detroit. And with 2:10 remaining in the first half, they still have the 3 timeouts. Still plenty of time to get something done here before the halftime.
3rd and 1. There's a first down for Reggie Cobb to the 41-yard line, and the 2-minute warning is upon us. Toby Castone with yet another tackle. 1:58 is the time remaining in the first half of play. We'll be back to see if Tampa can drive it down the field right after these messages. Here we have lust for a touchdown by both teams. Only 4 field goals to this point. It's 6-6. 1:58 remaining. The Buccaneers have all 3 timeouts left. Drops it off. Anderson cross midfield, breaks the tackle. Breaks another to the 38-yard line. 21-yard pickup. William White, Toby Castone on the stop.
You know, we talked about play action fakes a little bit earlier, how that might have somebody come open, and that's what happens to Gary Anderson as he fights through some traffic to be able to do that. Now, what makes him so good, I think, is after the catch. He can run very good routes, make people miss, and then he'll break tackles and outrun people as well. He is a big addition to this Buck offense.
Well, you heard me saying that they were lusting for a touchdown. Next Thursday night, Kirk Douglas stars in the biography of the tormented Dutch artist Vincent van Gogh. And Anthony Quinn won an Oscar for his portrayal of Paul Gauguin. It's one of TNT's Our Favorite Movies and definitely worth seeing. Don't miss Lust for Life, Thursday night at 8.
There's Ray Perkins. He can stare right through you. He's got those steely blue eyes and one of the more intense coaches you're going to meet. Gives you that look that doesn't really believe the refrigerator light goes off when you close the door, you know.
From the 38-yard line, Testaverde 6 out of 10 for 76 yards. Hill in motion. Play action pass. Pressure this time. He has a man. Can't hang on. Ron Hall had it and simply dropped it.
And that's something Ron Hall has not been doing this year, dropping the ball. And again, the quarterback gets booed for plays like that, obviously, but number 82 right there, what he does is his releases quickly. He doesn't get held up. He's wide open actually earlier than the ball is thrown to him. But that's a ball that should have been an easy catch and would have put the Bucs in field goal range.
He had 5 catches for 136 yards coming into this one. 2nd and 10, 90 seconds left in the half. He'll run it, and he'll get out of bounds at the 30. Short of the first down. Castone, who's having a big night, ran him out.
Well, this is the best, actually, drive that the Bucs have had going, and it's really been because of Gary Anderson, quite honestly, who made the big play after the catch. But Ray Perkins has to be happy here that with 1:21 remaining, and he still has 2 timeouts, time is not a factor. What they need to do is make the first down. And you have a couple of choices. Do I run it twice, or do I run once, and if I don't make it, attempt the field goal?
3rd down, 2 yards to go. Willie Drury wide to the left. Hall in motion. They run a pitch. Anderson, I don't think he got the first down. Some wicked hitting there by Detroit. Herb Welch was the first man there.
Boy, this Detroit defense has been really sensational, and Gary Anderson has a lot to look at. We talked about Barry Sanders' eyes, but watch the vision here of Gary Anderson. Unfortunately, there is absolutely nowhere to run. Herb Welch is there, Gaston is there, Gibson is there. You know, Wayne Font said, my team is a team that's in transition. We're building for a championship team, and he's got a pretty good defense.
Let's check with our colleague Fred Hickman down below. Fred, what do you got?
Well, thank you very much, Skip and Pat. We're getting ready for the Nissan halftime report down here in front of the stadium, and I can tell you that people have been getting their kicks around the league. 37 field goals today, lots of injuries. I got Kevin Kiley and Craig Sager to help me talk all about it at halftime. Now back up to the booth. Gentlemen.
Okay, Fred, thank you very much. Don't have any idea what you said, but thank you very much anyway. 4th down and a yard. They're going to go for it. Jamie Lawson has checked in the game. It's Cobb, first down. Lawson led the way with a block. Cobb had his best gain of the night.
The thing about Reggie Cobb, he can all of a sudden just pop out of a pack because this was pretty well defended. It was supposed to go over the right side. But then he just saw a little soft spot on the left, and that's where he ran.
Clock ticks with 39 seconds left. He has time. It's tipped. It is incomplete. Almost caught on the deflection by Hill. Bruce Hill came within an eyelash of coming up with that, but he could not, and the clock stops with 34 seconds left.
Yeah, it was Castone, number 50, who made the tip there.
He's had a whale of a night.
Yeah, he really has. And again, he's filling in for Spielman, as you mentioned earlier. And how often do you see that when you think a big star goes down and gets hurt like Spielman is tonight, and the guy who comes in plays awfully well, and that's exactly what Castone has done for the Lion defense.
2nd down, 10 yards to go. Bruce Hill is wide right. Willie Drury to the left. He looks first to Hill. Throws, short pass, Cobb, 8-yard line. Ball is loose. Lions say they have it. And they do.
Well, that's a big break for the Detroit Lions. And, you know, in this league, I think a lot of the talent, all teams have good players. The difference in teams are turnovers. I'm convinced in the NFL that's what wins and loses games, turning the ball over. And again, it's Castone, number 50, who really created the fumble there. That's just a nice hit by Toby Castone.
Here come the Lions from the 9-yard line with 25 seconds left. See how they play it. They're going to walk out of here at halftime tied up. The Tampa Bay crowd boos, but the Lions are already on their way to the locker room, led by Rodney Peete. 6-6 is our score at halftime. The Lions scored 3 in the first, 3 in the second. Bucks scored 6 points in the second quarter. That's how we got to where we are. Wayne Fontes makes his way off the field, and we'll be back right after this. It comes from your local sponsor.
The Nissan Halftime Report is being brought to you by Nissan, built for the human race.
And welcome back to the Stadium Show set. You saw what's been going on inside the stadium. Outside, I'm Brett Hickman along with the Hickman Group to bring you all of the halftime scores and highlights and all that other kind of good stuff. What do you think of this ball game? 4 field goals and that's it.
I'm amazed. If the Detroit Lions were a motor, they need a ring job. They got so many guys injured, and yet they've shut off Tampa Bay's running game, and they're doing a great job defensively, playing above their head.
How do you see it, Craig?
Well, the sport is called football. The day definitely belongs to field goal kickers. That includes the 2 from Canada. Eddie Murray is from Victoria, British Columbia. Steve Christie is from Oakville, Ontario. And as we said, we got a great second half coming up.
Hopefully we do. And also, we have got halftime highlights and scores coming up from Ernie and Kenny back in Atlanta. And speaking of big feet, how about bare feet or a bare foot that kicked a big one today, Ernie?
You are certainly right, Fred Hickman. It was Kevin Butler with a bare foot. And 6 years ago, in fact, he was huge for Georgia when they beat Clemson. He kicked the 60-yarder. Let's talk first about this game, though, because 2 weeks ago, Tampa Bay was all over these guys at their place, and nothing like that tonight.
I think the turnovers is a situation, you know, it's plagued the Detroit team all year long in their first 2 games, and again tonight, the run and shoot has been coughing the ball up. I think Vinny Testaverde is playing within himself real well, getting a lot of people involved, but turnovers again hurting the Tampa Bay team.
All right, Sunday number 3, let's take a look. We'll kick it off with Minnesota and Chicago. Kevin Butler, the old Georgia kicker, who 6 years ago beat Clemson with a 60-yarder, his 4th of the day. Today, kicks 4 to beat Minnesota, including this 52-yarder. with 4 seconds to go there as you watch the clock. 19-16, the Bears over the Vikings at Soldier Field behind Kevin Butler. Miami Dolphins fell to the New York Giants 20-3, and the Niners held off the Falcons 19-13. The Cincinnati Bengals are unbeaten, and as a former holder, you got to like this play, kid.
Watch the wingman up on the right, number 82, Rodney Holman. The holder's going to take the ball. It's going to be a forward lateral, okay, behind the line of scrimmage. Nice little wrinkle from the field goal team.
41-7, the Bengals all over the Patriots today at Riverfront. So Cincinnati goes to 3-0. The Pittsburgh Steelers, boy, that offense is really something. 20-3, the Raiders outscore the Steelers. In fact, the Pirates outscored the Steelers today. 34-31, Broncos with a field goal in overtime from David Treadwell. They win it over the Seahawks. They got Kansas City and Green Bay, and Don Majkowski with a rough day.
Tough day for the Magic Man. Sacked 6 times during the day, trying to make it happen late in the game. Forces one. Stan Petrie picks it off. Returns it 33 yards for the score.
Kansas City now 2-1 after that trip to Lambeau Field. 17-3 over Green Bay. San Diego wins for the first time, 24-14, as Billy Joe Tolliver throws a couple of touchdown passes to Anthony Carter. The Houston Oilers have won for the first time under Jack Pardee, 24-10 over the Colts. Philadelphia welcomes back Keith Jackson today.
Well, here's what he brings to the team. Randall Cunningham always has an outlet, somebody that he can look to get the ball in when times like this, when he's improvising. There's Keith Jackson sitting down in the middle of the field, finding a good place for Randall Cunningham.
4 receptions for 77 yards today for Keith Jackson as the Eagles upset the Rams in L.A. 27-21. It was the Redskins over Dallas 19-15. Mark Rippon sprained a knee in that game. New Orleans 28-7 over Phoenix as Reuben Mays scored 3 touchdowns. Coming up next, why is Paul Ryden at Lambeau Field in his bathrobe? Well, only Paul knows, and he'll tell us in a Ryden original next.
Well, there's the story of our game at halftime. Pat Haden, Skip Caray with you. 6-6 at the break. Detroit will receive the second half kickoff, and there's Mel Gray, who stands at the goal line, flanked by Jeff Campbell and Chris Oldham. Steve Christie will kick it off. He had a 55-yard field goal in the first half. And the second half about to get underway from Tampa Bay.
There wasn't obviously great offense, but I think it was some pretty good defense I saw out there. Some incredible linebacker play, I think, by both teams. But nobody ran the ball well in the first half.
So we wait for Mr. Christie out of William and Mary to get this second half underway. They're not waiting on television.
I think they're replaying halftime. There's a controversial call at halftime.
Here we go.
Here we go.
A squib kick bounces around, is fielded at the 15 by Chris Oldham. And Detroit's going to have excellent field position as Oldham gets out across the 35-yard line. Rodney Peete will come up, and if he completes a pass here, Pat, it'll be something he hasn't done too much lately.
Yeah, it really is. We talked at the very beginning of the show. Rodney Peete has played wonderfully in the first half of ball games, but he's yet to complete a pass in the second half of the first 2 games. And then Wayne Font said, our team is only going to be as good as we can be as soon as the quarterback starts playing efficiently. They've not had that thus far this year.
Greer wide to the right, Clark wide to the left. Barry Sanders, the long running back. Aubrey Matthews goes motion left, so they wind up trips left. Peete will try to change that record, and he does, and it's complete. Robert Johnson with the reception across midfield, a 16-yard pickup.
Well, what the run and shoot likes to do, or is trying to do, is getting small people in open spaces to be able to make plays. That ball was nearly tipped, and that's what happened here. The crossing route with Richard Johnson, beautifully thrown that time by Rodney Peete. And the nice thing about that route is a guy catches it on the move, running away from a defender.
First down at the 48. Matthews in motion once more, so it's trips left again, same formation. Sanders stays in the block. The pass is hit, knocked away. Somebody came right over Barry Sanders.
I think it may have been Irvin Randall, it looked like. The inside linebacker, number 54 for the Bucs.
As is so often the case, you're absolutely right.
Irvin Randall's an interesting guy. Here's a guy, number There's Lomas Brown, number 75. Yeah, it is Urban Randall. There were three white bodies around there. They sacked him 6 times last time by blitzing Urban Randall. They did it there in the second half here.
2nd and 10. Robert Johnson in motion right. Peete rolls right. Sack. Urban Randall again. Randall out of Baylor, a 5th-year man.
There's a nice smile there by Urban Randall. And Urban Randall, the last few years, actually, Skip, has had to go to the dentist after the season's been over to replace the fillings that he loses after all the jarring hits. It's a true story. I don't make it up, Pally. He's actually wearing braces now to straighten out the teeth that have actually been jarred over the past couple of years. You ought to see that orthodontist, by the way.
3rd and 16. What if he sets the metal detector off when he gets on the charter? Possession play. Peete. He eludes one man, runs out of the pocket. Boy, close to a first down. It'll depend on the spot.
And guess who was draped around Peete again? It was Urban Randall. 3 plays in a row, they blitzed the inside backer, Urban Randall.
They're going to call time here to measure. Look at it again.
Yeah, see number 54 comes in on a delayed blitz, gets right past the center, Glover, and misses him that time. But Randall sacked Rodney Peete 3 times the first time they played 2 weeks ago. But that time, Rodney Peete made a very nice play.
They're going to come up. Oh, it's close. Just enough.
Yeah, it looked short to me, and so did Winston Moss. He didn't look like he made it to me there.
Peete now four rushes for 61 yards when he's flushed out of the pocket.
And he's been more dangerous tonight as a runner, quite honestly, than as a passer.
Greer flanks wide left, or rather wide right, Clark wide left. Aubrey Matthews in motion. The give, Sanders breaks the tackle. What a run. Down to the 21-yard line. Reuben Davis finally got him, but not before he picked up yet another first down. 18-yard scamper.
You know, before Barry Sanders' career is over, his uniform is gonna have a lot of fingerprints of every linebacker in the league. And this time it was Urban Randall, number 54, who had done such a nice job of rushing the passer. Just got his head on the wrong side of Barry Sanders, and when you do that, he's going to run right through the tackle.
From the 20, first down. Johnson in motion. Nothing out for Sanders, but he makes something out of nothing again. Picks up 4 yards. Reuben Davis makes the stop. Again, that's a sensational run, and he only got 3.5, 4 yards.
Yeah, it's like you don't coach him. You just kind of aim him. You just aim him and say, find a little spot. But the eyes are the thing that I think would separate exceptional runners from your ordinary run-of-the-mill. And we talked about guys being able to run east and west, Skip, earlier, and then still gain yards. He's one of the few guys I've ever seen be able to do that.
12 rushes, 45 yards. He's earned every one of it. Second down, 6 yards to go. Johnson in motion. Peete to throw. Now he'll run. Quarterback draw. 10, 5, dive. Did he get there? They say no. Mark Robinson finally stopped it.
Well, in last season, Rodney Peete beat the Tampa Bay Bucs here by scrambling into the end zone with time running out. This was a design play, a quarterback draw. Design play, a quarterback draw this time. The plays earlier were not designated scrambles, but this one was. Picks up a couple of nice blocks, one on Urban Randall. And he comes down just short of the goal line. That's a nice play, though, by Peete.
First and goal from the 1. Quarterback sneak. Touchdown. Plays 64 yards. Rodney Peete instrumental primarily with his legs rather than his arm, and the Lions have the lead.
Yeah, there's still the question mark, I think, about the run and shoot as a passing offense. Certainly as we have seen it from the Detroit Lions tonight, as we saw last week with the Oilers. But that drive was really the scrambling of Rodney Peete.
Jim Arnold will hold. Eddie Murray will try to give his team a 7-point lead. Eric Sanders snaps. And our score is Lions 13, Buccaneers 6. We have 10:56 remaining in the third quarter. We'll be back for the kickoff as Tampa handles the ball for the first time right after this from your local sponsors. Eddie Murray's split kick goes out of bounds. That will be a penalty against Detroit, and his hip ailment obviously bothered him again. That thing went out of bounds around the 23 or 4 yard line. So we'll have the kick to do all unless they want to take it right there. Let's see where they mark it.
You know, we said the 1-yard touchdown run by Rodney Peete was set up by 2 plays by the quarterback. They weren't by throws, though, in this silver stretch or run and shoot offense. They were 2 scrambles. He had a receiver open, but Irvin Randall was draped all over him. And this is something that you can't really coach, obviously, the ability, the escapability that Rodney Peete had.
The Bucs take the ball at the 35-yard line. Cobb and Anderson still the running back. Anderson fights his way forward. Jimmy Williams makes the stop.
And the other key run in the touchdown drive by the Lions was the second scramble by Rodney Peete. This one, it was a designed quarterback draw, really just designed beautifully and run to perfection. He gets down to the 1 and then he snuck it in. So it was a nice drive. We saw a little bit of Barry Sanders, but primarily it was Rodney Peete's feet that got the 6 points.
Carrier to the left, Hill to the right. Pitch Anderson cuts in. He has yardage. Tripped up, or he might have gone all the way. Stopped at the 48-yard line.
You know, I was talking to some defensive players for the Bucs this summer who were saying that just the expectation of Gary Anderson and what he does, what he adds to our offense, means an awful lot. It takes some of the pressure off Vinny Testaverde, and that's what this team needs most. They need some other contributors on offense. He's done that this year.
Dennis Gibson was the man that tripped him up and might have saved a touchdown. First down for the Bucs. They're still in their own territory, and they're down by 7. It's Anderson again, and there's nothing there.
Dennis Gibson, number 98, right there in the middle of your screen. You know, this is a guy who gets lost in the shuffle a little bit in Detroit because of Chris Spielman and Mike Kofer. But you ask a guy to play coverage, you ask a guy to play inside, short yardage, Dennis Gibson is the guy. He's played very well tonight.
We have a player down, a member of the Buccaneers. And we'll see who he is and how he is when we come back right after this. Well, Tom McHale is the injured player for the Bucs, a 4th-year man, a lineman out of Cornell, a 280-pounder, and as you see, he needs the truck to get off the field. We'll let you know what the injury was as soon as we find out.
Yeah, well, Skip, what happened, I think one of his own teammates kind of rolled into the back of his leg, and it happens a lot to offensive linemen. There's so many bodies flying around and some big bodies. I think it was Randy Grimes who just kind of fell on the back of his leg. And that's where the injury was.
It is a leg problem. He was conscious at all. 2nd and 9. Hill in motion for the Bucs. Testaverde gives. It's Anderson again, and he cuts back. And he breaks 2 tackles and gets close to the 40, close to the first down. And again, a saving tackle. This one from William White, the safety out of Ohio State.
You know, it's hard to believe that San Diego didn't re-sign Gary Anderson. He stayed out of football all of last year in a contract dispute. A guy who played in the USFL successfully right here in Tampa Bay, had some great years with the Chargers, and now is going to make a big difference, I think, in this offense here with the Bucs.
He says that missing a year really helped him, that his legs feel fresher. Anderson, 10 rushes, 34 yards. He gets to try again. And again, good yardage down to the 35.
Not many backs who are good receivers, Skip, are good power runners and can break some tackles, but Gary Anderson, I think, is one of the few exceptions to that rule. He can break tackles, he can run inside, and he's got the ability to catch the ball both short and long.
8:12 remaining in our third quarter. Second down, 4 yards to go for the Buccaneers, who have had a very impressive drive here, as did Detroit the first time they touched the ball in this third quarter. Cobb and Anderson, the running back. Reggie Cobb fights his way forward, close to the first down. Dennis Gibson out of Iowa State made yet another stop. It's going to be third and about 2.
Now, one of the backs that the Bucs have on their roster tonight, and they have 5 of them, were with them last year. There's been a big turnover in offensive personnel on this Buccaneer team. And Ray Perkins said, I've never had as many weapons offensively in the backfield since I've been the head coach of the Bucs.
Third down and a long one. They go into the eye. Cobb and Anderson, the running back. It was Cobb, and I don't know if he got it. Kevin Brooks made the stop. And another Tampa Bay player can't get up.
Well, it's Harry Swain. Yeah.
He's on our Rutgers.
Another offensive lineman, too. Well, we talked about this offensive line of the Bucs actually being one of the lesser-known offensive lines, but a good one. Although this Detroit defense has certainly been equal to the task tonight, because they really haven't run the ball well up into this drive. Didn't run the ball in the first half at all.
As you can see, he's going to be all right.
And there's Woody Whitenhofer, the defensive coordinator of the Lions. He has 4 Super Bowl rings. He was on the staff of the Steelers during the 70s, head coach at Missouri. Now doing a nice job as the defensive coordinator of the Lions.
They came up short, and they're going to go for it. It's fourth and less than a yard. Cobb and Lawson are the running backs. Diving for it. Cobb. First down. If they give him his forward progress, that should be a first down. Let's wait and see, though.
You know, the key here is the offensive linemen keep the defensive linebackers from being able to jump. Oh, there's a fumble there. There was a fumble. That ball came out. Now, I don't know whether the Bucs recovered it, but
they did.
Yeah, there was clearly a fumble there.
Now, let's see if they recovered it far enough for a first down. Testaverde up at the line of scrimmage, and they'll measure this. First down. The drive stays alive for the Buccaneers.
That's a lucky break for the Bucs, but this has been by far their most impressive drive. And the reason it's been is they've been able to run the ball with Gary Anderson and Reggie Cobb for the first time tonight with some success.
Now the officials are halting the action again. Do we have a review here? An 8-play drive for Tampa Bay to this point, all on the ground.
Well, I think the issue is, you know, who in fact did recover the fumble, because Reggie Cobb lost this ball very early.
Yeah, there it comes out.
Yeah, it's right there by number 55, Kofer. I don't think he sees it. I don't think Kofer even sees it. You know, if Kofer sees that ball, that's Detroit's ball, but he never saw it or felt it.
You can see Ray Perkins saying, what's going on here?
Yeah, you know,
Fetty is our replay official, and he's checking things over right now.
Yeah, and Wayne Fonts is saying, hey, on the replay here on the screen in the stadium, he's saying, we got the ball. And what the official did.
The play stands, and you can see Fonts isn't happy about that.
Yeah. You know what happened, I think, Skip? I think the officials were so concerned about the mark for the first down, they didn't realize the ball had been fumbled and didn't see who recovered it.
You can see the official there struggle. I don't think anybody knew who recovered that football. So maybe a big break for the Buccaneers. Let's see if they can cash in. They haven't thrown a pass on this drive. They still haven't. Again, it's Gary Anderson, and he just keeps powering his way forward. Jimmy Williams finally makes the stop.
Hey, one more look at this fumble by Reggie Cobb, and Skip, I think we've surmised it right. I don't think the officials were paying attention to the fumble. They were all concerned about the mark. Watch the ball come out, and it's really right there. It's right there. And Michael Kofer, number 55, wasn't aware that the ball was right on his hip.
Hill goes in motion. Second and about 2 to give us to John Harvey. 9-yard line. Welch made the stop.
Well, you know, both offensive teams clearly made some adjustments at halftime. And football is a game of adjustments. And what we're seeing the Bucs do here is be able to run the ball a lot better, I think, because their lead backs are blocking better and their tackles are doing a much better job of sealing the inside and allowing the Bucs to go outside.
Everything on the ground in this drive, and they've taken the ball right down the field. We have 5:03 left. It's first and goal, third quarter. Detroit by a touchdown. The give, same man, Harvey to the 5.
You know, Skip, these are the kind of drives that offensive linemen love, because it's easy to get into a rhythm when you're running the ball play after play, and they've grown up trying to be physical, and ever since they were, 15 years old and they were too big for their to play running backs in their high school teams. And this is the thing that offensive linemen love: long drives where you run the ball every down.
Second and goal from the 5. 4:25 left in the quarter. He'll throw it this time for Cobb, and he's hit and dropped at the 3. Jimmy Williams among those in on the stop. He was helped by Bruce McNorton.
Yeah, that was a very nice play by Bruce McNorton, the corner, because he had a wide receiver over on top of him that he had to worry about. He released him and then came up and made the stop.
So now it's third and goal at the 4. 3:45 left in the quarter. Testaverde's first pass of the drive was for 1 yard. Cobb and Harvey are the setback. Out of the shotgun. Quarterback draw. He lost the ball. He gets it back. Then he throws it after he's lying on the ground. And let's see what they call all that. Mark Spindler was the first man there. It looked like he was trying a quarterback draw.
It was. They came in with a 4 wide receiver set, kind of like a run and shoot type of scheme, hoping to send everybody outside wide. It was supposed to be a quarterback draw, but Spindler, number 92, and Randy Grimes, actually the center, he ran right into Randy Grimes. And when you're running a quarterback draw, I think the offensive linemen have to go downfield.
That was not a pretty sight, that particular play. Steve
really
Christie will try a chip shot from 22 yards out. And he's got that, and the Buccaneers move closer, but they still trail here. 3:21 is remaining in the third quarter. We'll be back after this from your local sponsors. Gray will return it. Steve Christie will kick it off. Rodney Peete warming up in the bullpen. He'll go back to work in just a moment. 3:21 left in the third quarter. It's 13-9. The Lions have the lead. And here we go. Gray will field this at the 4. He couldn't quite break it, but a good return of 26 yards out to the 30-yard line. Ricky Reynolds made the stop, and it's a good thing that he did. Time for another commercial with 3:09 left, third quarter. 3:09 left in the third quarter. The wave has broken out here in Tampa Bay. And Rodney Peete goes to work from his 30-yard line. Audrey Matthews in motion. Peete looks, has a man at the 45, and what a hit. Mark Robinson made the stop on Richard Johnson. Oh, he's taken some punishment tonight. A 15-yard pickup and a first down. And Rodney Peete, who had sputtered in the second half of his two previous games, shows no signs of doing so tonight.
Yeah, he has played pretty well all night long, as well as a runner. 9 of 16 for 93 yards, and he's also run for 77 other yards. Remember, just a week ago, a lot of people were calling for him to be benched and have them play Andre Ware.
Terry Greer is wide to the right. Peete rolls that way, hits the short man on the right side. It's Matthews, and he is across the 50.
Got a fight going on down there.
Eugene Marv made the stop away from the ball. Hostilities broke up. Jim Scow is involved along with Eric Andelson. They were 20 yards from anybody.
Yeah. Well, you talked about Rodney Peete and Andre Ware. Andre Ware was their #1 draft pick. Had a phenomenal year at the University of Houston a year ago. Missed all of camp. Peete won the job in camp and is trying to keep it tonight.
2nd and 1. Oh, perfect Johnson. He's got room to run. He slips and falls as he gets close to the 30. He cost himself another 8 yards, perhaps. Eric Everett ran him out. Now a look at tonight's Hyundai leaderboard. Montana got a win. Warren Moon got his first. John Elway in an overtime game had a big afternoon. They marked the ball at the 31-yard line. That's your Hyundai leaderboard. Johnson 5 catches, 60 yards.
They saw no offense in the first half, and that's all we've seen in the second half.
Matthews in motion. Peete looks, has another man. Oh, it's under the run. The ball is out of bounds. Let's see how they rule it. Is it a completion or an incompletion? Matthews dropped it. It is a catch. And the ball went out of bounds.
Bounce. It'll be put in play at the out-of-bounds spot.
Yeah, this has been a pattern that has been open all night. They've hit it 4 times. They have. I'm not sure he really had control of that thing, but nonetheless, the ball did roll out of bounds.
So now,
but you know,
the Lions head to the line of scrimmage.
You know, the difference, I think, for Rodney Peete tonight, rather than the first 2 games, Skip, has been that he's been in rhythm. He's getting the ball to the receivers on time, and he's certainly throwing it a lot more accurately.
They're reviewing whether or not that's a catch, and I wouldn't be surprised if they changed that one.
Yeah. Remember, the presumption is the call on the field is correct. So there has to be clear and undisputable evidence that it was not a catch.
Well, you know, looking at that angle, it looked like it was.
Well, make up your mind, would you?
Well, I can't until I see all the angles.
You know, when you look at things in slow motion, quite honestly, it actually looks like he has catch.
It distorts it.
Yeah, it really does. I think.
Well, their 2 minutes are almost up, so we'll know something soon.
They've got a little egg timer up there. One of the new additions to the
official NFL egg timer.
Yeah, exactly. Is that they can only spend 2 minutes looking at these things.
Ron Blum and Wayne Fonts talk it over. Blum, the line judge here tonight. Our officials, by the way, we told you about Dale Hamer, umpire Al Conway, head linesman Sid Seaman, back judge Jim Deopoulos, side judge Tom Finken, field judge Bobby Skelton, and the man on the spot now in charge of replay, Jack Fetty.
That's got to be 2 minutes. It's not worth it for the 2 yards, particularly when they run the run and shoot. I don't think he really had possession and control.
I think it was a catch.
Oh, I disagree.
Take that.
There's Andre Ware. What a talent he is. And, you know, talking to Rodney Peete, last night, though, he said, hey, I don't begrudge him at all and being a #1 draft pick and all. But the sports is a pure form of the democratic process. If Andre Ware beats me out on the field to play, I don't mind sitting down. But right now the job is mine to lose.
Now, time has halted again. I don't know what they finally ruled there.
It is stand. The play stands as called.
So I was right and you were wrong, which is as it should be.
So take that.
Now let's see what we're stopping things for now.
Wow. I mean, come on, it's only 2 yards, guys. It's only 2. The run and shoot. 2 yards means nothing.
Now he's going to talk directly to the replay booth, I guess. Unless he's ordering a pizza. In this half, Rodney Peete 5 of 6, 55 yards.
You got to take that back.
Let's listen in here. Whatever is happening is a secret. He was ordering a pizza. So Peete goes to work. Sanders to the 24-yard line. He is about 3.5 yards short of the first down. They called it a fumble backwards out of bounds, so the play stands is what that all means.
Okay, let's get on with the game. We've
Good idea.
Yeah, really.
Only 21 seconds left in this third quarter.
But, you know, the difference between the first half and the second half. Again, the first half, all defensive. Second half, we've seen 3 long drives, 2 by the Lions and 1 by the Buccaneers. And it really, for the Bucs, it's been the running game. And for the Detroit Lions, it's been their passing game being in rhythm.
3rd and 2 at the 23. Matthews in motion. Sanders tripped out. Didn't get it. Boy, a big play there. Jim Scow was involved. Kurt Jarvis as well.
Yeah, that's the 3rd time Kurt Jarvis has kind of come through and put a stop on him early. He's playing very well at nose tackle for the Bucs tonight.
That's the end of the third quarter. Tonight with Vanessa Redgrave right here on TNT.
You know, there's a lot of Detroit Lions who have not gotten their share of credit over the years. One of them is their kicker, Eddie Murray, who's had just a remarkable 10-year career, incredibly accurate.
42-yard try. He's got a bad hip. You can see they call him Eddie Money.
Well, I guess he's, what, 42 of 44 now on his last 44 kicks.
Sanders snaps, Arnold holds, Murray tries to give his team a 7-point lead. We have to wait for the cheerleaders to leave the end zone.
Yeah, the crowd was in a real frenzy. They really had him going, didn't they? The all-time leaders. The percentage is incredible, and you say, yeah, he kicks indoors, but he's been just as accurate outdoors. But you look at Kevin Butler, I think, which is amazing, who kicks for the Bears, and Lowry for the Chiefs, a lot of times in bad weather.
Well, the cheerleaders are gone. What are we waiting for now?
They're still reviewing that fumble, I think. They went back to it.
No, they can't do that to us. Sure, a lot of meetings here. This is like when a bunch of television producers get together. Everybody runs around and has meetings.
There's so much for quicker games.
Eddie Murray will try for a 42-yard field goal. Yes, sir. Right on the money.
A couple of penalty flags, though, on the field, though, Skip.
So let's hold the phone. The Bucs are indicating it might be against Detroit. It is. Let's listen.
Tripping, number 65 of the kicking team. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, fourth down.
Eric Andelsek, a tripping penalty. That's 10 yards, and that might take him right out of field goal range.
Andelsek is number 65. He's the left guard. But that time he's playing the wing. Oh, yeah, right there he's playing the wing. He just tripped Kevin Moss. Easy call for the official. Wow.
Undeterred, he'll try from 52. Boy, this could be. No, he won't either. Murray was ready to go, but they won't let him try. Jim Arnold will come in and punt the ball away. Willie Drury is the deep man. What a turnaround that is. He heads for the corner. He's got a man down there. Can he save it?
Man.
Chris Oldham did all he could do, but it wasn't enough. And the ball will come back to the 20-yard line. And what a huge play that might be before this game comes to a close. You see how close Oldham comes. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Dancing.
Allstate. For home, auto, life, and business insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate.
It's Reggie Cobb on first down, and he gets out to about the 26-yard line before Toby Castone makes the tackle. A good gain. 14:33 remaining. Pat Haden, Skip Caray with you from Tampa Stadium. We're in the fourth quarter. It's a 13-9 ball game. The Lions lead the Bucs. Only one touchdown tonight. That's scored by Detroit at the outset of the second half.
Yeah, it was a first half of entirely all defense, several field goals on both sides, and the second half has started with long drives by both teams, but still only the one touchdown.
Hill and Carrier split wide. The running back is Anderson, and he is nailed short of the first down. George Jameson out of the University of Cincinnati made the stop. Here's the way Testaverde's statistics look.
Well, he really hasn't had a big night throwing the football. Hasn't made a lot of mistakes.
But his best drive was in the second half, all on the ground, except for the one little.
You're absolutely right. But then what got him in trouble, though, was when they ran the quarterback draw on 3rd and 4. There was a mix-up. He ran into his center, Randy Grimes. And what looked like could have been a touchdown drive, they end up with just the 3.
Now, here's Tampa Bay's edition of the run and shoot. 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 3. John Harvey, a good pass receiver, is also in the backfield. The pass is caught. It may be shy of the first down. Let's see the mark. Bruce Hill made a fine reception. McNorton was there to cover along with Leroy Urban.
You know, we talked about the long drives by both teams, and really the play that messed up earlier. This was in the 3rd quarter when Tampa Bay was driving. It was supposed to be a quarterback draw, but watch the center, Randy Grimes. Rather than going downfield, he backs up, and Testaverde runs right into him. And then they had to go for the field goal. That was their best chance to score a touchdown this entire game. Instead, they've got 3 field goals.
The penalty sets them back to the 17, where it's 3rd and 13. Not much pressure. Now there is. Testaverde wriggles away. They say he was down back inside the 5-yard line. Mark Spindler got it. Spindler, remember if you watch the NFL draft on ESPN, he was the kid whose house they were at.
Yeah.
And he never got drafted and never got drafted. And then 5 minutes after he left, he got drafted. He made a heck of a play there.
Yeah, and Detroit is awfully happy they drafted him because as a rookie, he is starting. One of the youngest players in the league. And yeah, Testaverde's knee went down there when Spindler knocked him with his left hand. So
that was not the hit. It was the one prior to that that caused play to stop. Mark Royals punts it away to Mel Gray. Boy, great field position for Detroit. Sensational. Penalty flags. Gray is at the 15 and out of bounds, but there are flags way back at the 38. Royals ran him out of bounds, but I think this will be called back. And again, every kickoff and punt in this league, there's a penalty flag.
Well, it is a clip, but Mel Gray is quite a weapon for these Detroit Lions. He's a led the league in the NFC in kickoff returns a year ago, a dangerous punt returner. And Frank Gantz is the special teams coach for the Lions. And just about in every category a year ago, the Lions ranked highly.
So we'll see what this is all about. This was a well-played game until the last 6 or 7 minutes, and then it's sort of fallen apart on us.
We have 2 fouls on the play. IBW, illegal block. Number 35 of the return team. Number 51 of the return team. 1 penalty will be picked. It'll be a 10-yard penalty. First down, Detroit. Timeout.
William White and Nico Noga both with illegal blocks there.
There's Frank Gantz, the special teams coach of the Detroit Lions, who's just done a sensational job as the special team coach over the last couple of years.
And we'll be back after this from your local sponsors. What in essence was a 31-yard penalty for Detroit. Now they start still in good field position at the Tampa Bay 46. And the give is to Sanders. Nothing there. Urban Randall again, the youngster out of Baylor, 5th-year man, made the stop.
You know, here we are, Skip, 12:21 remaining in the 4th quarter, 13-9. The Lions are leading, but another low-scoring game. There were a lot of them again today. I think it's kind of interesting that in this era of wide-open offense that everybody talks about, run and shoot, 3 wide outs, and all these things, this year I think it's been predominantly defense in the NFL. Certainly the first 3 weeks have been that. It's been sacks, turnovers, and defensive scores that have really marked the NFL.
Chiefs are for real, folks. Matthews in motion. Peete to throw. He's in trouble. He is sacked. There's a flag as well. Rodney Rice made the stop. Check the flag. Probably holding.
Holding. Number 67 of the offense. The penalty is declined.
The holding is, of course, declined.
You're going to see on the outside Rodney Rice come off the backside. He is number on the defensive back, and he is the one who makes the play. Now, he is a nickel back who came in to make the stop on Peete. He just ran through a block, and he gets some inside pressure by Ray Seals. And then the stop and the sack.
And a fumble, and the ball goes over to Tampa Bay. Vinny Testaverde brings his team up. And he throws, and he has a man, and it's complete. Carrier inside the 30-yard line. Toby Castone made the saving tackle.
Yeah, these Tampa Bay receivers tonight have done a wonderful job of adjusting to the ball. Vinny Testaverde has not been terribly accurate tonight. A lot of low balls, and his receivers have done a nice job of adjusting to it. And lots of guys who are fast, lots of guys who can make cuts. But if you can't adjust for bad throws, you're not going to last long in the league. And that's one of the things that Mark Carrier does so very well.
Carrier, 3 receptions, 49 yards. Testaverde down the middle, diving catch, rolling near the 10-yard line. Carrier again.
Some receivers are just tenacious going after the ball. And you get the feeling that Mark Carrier is one of those guys because, again, he has to make an adjustment.
First down at the 11-yard line. A lot of time remaining, 10.5 minutes, 17-yard reception. Testaverde getting it going here. A touchdown gives his team the lead. He'll throw for it again. Into the end zone. Almost intercepted. William White had a chance of intercepting that ball. That was a poor throw. There was nobody there.
Yeah, well, there was a miscommunication between his tight end, Ron Hall, and Testaverde. That's what happened last week, a miscommunication right before halftime when Testaverde threw the interception. They got returned by the Rams for the touchdown.
So it's second down. 10 to go at the 11-yard line. Clock stops with 10:17 left. The fumble recovery has set up Tampa Bay. The 2 illegal blocks killed Detroit. Hill in motion. Pitch back. He wants to throw the pass. Anderson can't throw. He'll run. 5. Touchdown.
Gary Anderson has the kind of ability that makes you stand up and cheer. Obviously, this is supposed to be a pass that did not fool the Lions. And then he does the rest all on his own.
The kick is up. The kick is good. And the Buccaneers recover a fumble and march right down the field and take the lead. 16-13 is our score. We're building toward quite a finish. Mel Gray handles the kickoff at the goal line. 20. Gets outside. 30. 32-yard line. And he goes crashing into the bench across the way. Wayne Haddix ran him out.
No, Skip, the Buccaneers are leading this by 3 points. But for a penalty, this would be a tie ball game. A little bit earlier in the game, the wingback right here, number 65, Eric Andelsek, on a successful field goal by Eddie Murray, trips the man coming in right there, Winston Moss. They called the penalty. They forced the punt. And then what happened? Tampa Bay came right back as Gary Anderson tried to throw the ball and then showed you some incredible athleticism that very few backs can do. And then the leap, the patented leap. He did it at San Diego, and now he's done it here at Tampa Bay.
Well, we told you about Gray being run into the bench, and a personal foul is the result of that, and a 15-yard advance. And suddenly, the Lions start in Tampa Bay territory at the 49-yard line. Now, touchdown drive, 4 plays, 47 yards. Rodney Peete brings him out. A lot of time left. Complete, breaks one tackle, out of bounds. Johnson at around the 46-yard line. Richard Johnson, another reception. Here's the personal foul on the kickoff return a moment ago.
Yeah, again, Mel Gray, who's been effective as a punt and kickoff returner yet, obviously clearly a very, very late hit. There's just obviously no doubt about it. I think it actually looked worse than it was, but it was late. There's Mel Gray. What a weapon he is as a special teams player.
Boy, the crowd here is really into it. 2nd and 7. James Wilder in the backfield. Pass complete. Tackle broken at the 30-yard line. It's Robert Clark. A 16-yard pickup. Irvin Randall on the stop again. They're at the 30, and now the Lions move the chains.
You know, in this run-and-shoot offense, the wide receivers have to make a lot of adjustments. They read the defense just as much as the quarterback does. You see his head's up. You saw the defensive back, number 45, Haddix, outside. So that tells him his option brings him inside. And the ball well thrown by Rodney Peete.
Wilder, the former Buck hero, is now the running back for the Lions. Aubrey Matthews in motion. Their trips right. Wilder bangs his way inside the 30, a gain of about 3. Reuben Davis on the stop at the 27-yard line.
Well, what nice adjustments these teams have made as you watch James Wilder. And again, it still seems strange to have him in a Lion uniform. Here's a guy who went to the Washington Redskins on Plan B. Had just checked his kids into school, bought a condominium in Washington, and then gets traded to the Detroit Lions.
2nd down, a long 6. 8:35 remaining. Johnson in motion right. Wilder still the running back. Quarterback draw. Peete again. 4-yard line. Rodney Rice tripped him up. That's been their best play. Just turn him loose.
Yeah, well, you know, he's limping around right now, though, Rodney Peete is. I think it's his 8th carry. He has close to 100 yards, I think. 99 yards on 7 carries, but you can't last all season long like this. Now, the quarterbacks take a beating in this offense as a passer, and now he's taking it as a runner. But nonetheless, he's done a beautiful job of running this evening.
First and goal from just inside the 5-yard line. Look at the mud and sod on the helmet. Wilder is still the running back. Matthews in motion right. They run the option. Wilder, nothing there. Loses a yard. Randall again.
Now, the run and shoot does not have a tight end. It does not have a second back. And you wonder down here how you punch the ball in.
You know, they ran this, but excuse me, Pat, they ran the option for a touchdown against this team 2 weeks ago.
That's
Obviously, they scouted
that's
it.
exactly right. You see the 4 wide receivers, 2 to a side, no tight end, just the 1 back. And you have a lot of guys on the outside of that defense who can go unblocked and try to take advantage of the option, but no go.
Second and goal from the 6. Johnson in motion. Touchdown. Robert Clark. 5-yard, 6-yard touchdown pass. And the man beaten was Wayne Haddix.
And wasn't that beautiful timing between Clark and Rodney Peete? That was kind of fun to watch. Rodney Peete shaking off a sore ankle. First guy to congratulate him there, Andre Ware. But this was really good timing around. Robert Clark was inside and then just kind of broke outside. The ball was thrown away from the defender. And that's just a beautifully timed play.
Eddie Murray makes it a 4-point game. And the Lions show you a little savoir-faire as they march right down the field to reclaim the lead at 20-16. While the teams get ready for the kickoff, let's check some of the other action from around the NFL today. There were some good games.
Some low-scoring games, too, weren't there? The only team that really scored a lot of points today was Cincinnati that I saw.
Kevin Butler, the last one, 52 yards to win the game. He's a good old Georgia boy.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? Don Mikowski had a tough time back with the Packers today, Skip. Christian Okoye had a big day.
The Cowboys are a much improved team. They really are. They gave the Redskin and Rippon got hurt on that game.
Yeah. Yeah, the Saints, they finally scored some points, 28-7. A lot of rumors swirling about a trade there for Steve Walsh, the quarterback of the Cowboys right now.
The Colts continue to struggle. Jeff George got shaken up in that game.
I think the Giants are the best team that I have seen this year. Look great today against the Dolphins.
They really shut them down.
Yeah. Kosar, 3 interceptions, got sacked 3 more times today, too.
San Diego gets on the board. Long day for the Patriots. And boy, the way that game ended was really something. We'll maybe talk about that if we have time as we go along here. Eddie Murray will kick it off. The Eagles get their first win. Danny Peebles still the deep man. The kick is very short. John Harvey breaks it across the 40 and out of bounds at the 45. Ray Crockett got to it. Short kick, 28-yard return. Again, Murray's got that bad hit, but it hurt him.
And they have to find somebody to kick off for him. They just can't put Eddie Murray through that. That's 4 times, I think, tonight. And every one's been out, returned past the 35-yard line.
You see the Broncos in overtime, and the Raiders shut down the Steelers, whose offense continues to sputter.
Still no offensive touchdowns this year for the Steelers. I think the Raiders are one of the real surprises to go 3-0.
We'll see them in a couple of weeks. Next week, Washington at Phoenix next Sunday night. 4-point game. Play action. Testaverde. Complete. It's Hill. Out of bounds. 30-yard line. Bruce Hill. And all of a sudden, the offenses have opened up.
Come on. The nice thing there, we talked about play action in the first half, how this really should be working for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
25-yard completion.
And that's exactly what happened here as Bruce Hill was in motion from right to left, ran right through the defense on the crossing route, but it was the play action fake set up by the good runs. Play action only works when you're running the ball well, and the Bucs have in the second half.
From the 30-yard line, a single setback. Reggie Cobb. Testaverde has it back. 3-yard line. Ron Hall is tight end.
Yeah, Testaverde was saying yesterday about Ron Hall, if we didn't ask him to block so much, this guy would be in the Pro Bowl. You know, you think about Keith Jackson, you think about Mark Bavaro as tight ends, but Ron Hall is off to a very nice year for the Buccaneers. Caught a long touchdown in the first game against these guys. Has caught 2 balls tonight.
Cobb is in the backfield with Jamie Lawson. Lawson is the up back. He's a 240-pound blocking back. Play action. He'll throw for it. Too far. Bruce Hill, the intended receiver. Toby Castone was covering Hill. 2nd and goal. 5:10 left in regulation.
Is the kind of matchup you like. Number 84, Bruce Hill, against the inside linebacker, Caston. And again, that was just a poor throw. He was open for a score. Just a poor throw by Testaverde.
2nd and goal. Just outside the 3. The pitch. Cobb on a sweep. No. 4-yard line. In on the stop. Toby Castone again and Ray Crockett. So they can't get it with the run. And 3rd down beckons. 3rd and 4.
Well, that was a heck of a play by Ray Crockett, the corner. And hey, we have seen some great corner tackling by this Detroit Lion defense on outside sweeps by the Buccaneers.
Anderson checks back into the game for Tampa Bay. 4:35 remaining in the contest.
And they're down by 4, so they have to be thinking about touchdown. 2 downs maybe to get it in.
Hill wide left, Carrier wide right, and time is called by the officials. A timeout is called by Detroit. The Lions squander their first timeout. I guess they didn't have the package in there they wanted.
Yeah, I don't think that's a squander. I think that's a very good use of a timeout by Vinny Testaverde. He is down by 4 points. He's got 3rd down, and he wants to make sure he has the right personnel and the right call. Now, the issue for Ray Perkins is you try to try a one pass, and if you incomplete it, kick the field goal and hope you get another shot, or not. That was actually a Detroit timeout, defensive package, I think. You were talking about defensive packages. But nonetheless, this is an opportunity, I think, for Testaverde. We've seen Gary Anderson, who has really been the featured guy on 3rd and short yardage passing situations tonight. And he was in the first game.
John Harvey back in there with Anderson. Now Detroit at the last minute switches its personnel. Carrier wide to the left. Hill to the right. 3rd down, they go out of the shotgun. Hill in motion. Out of the backfield. What a ball game this has turned into.
Yeah, you see number 26, John Harvey, he lined up right next to Vinny Testaverde. The outside receivers go inside. It's a little bit like a pick play, and Harvey just swings out, but that was a very nice drive there by the Bucs.
The kick is good. Jimmy Williams was the man who missed him, could have kept him out of the end zone, but Harvey beat him fair and square. This place is up for grabs here. The offense has really taken over in the later stages of the game. Now it's 23-20, 17 second-half points for the Bucs, 14 for the Lions.
Here's the replay again. Here's John Harvey, the back. He's going to swing out, but there's some wide receivers coming this way. They clear it out. It's like a pick play, and John Harvey, yeah, you see the wide receivers go in. Harvey breaks to the outside, and then the linebacker, Williams, just overruns the play. Yeah, you know, I think both these teams are really dramatically improved from a year ago. From what I've seen tonight, the big question marks about these teams, high expectations for both of them. But certainly the Lions defensively have shown me a lot tonight. We still have some questions offensively, and this Buck team, I think, has a lot more weapons.
4:21 left. A field goal can tie things up for Detroit. That was not the case for Tampa Bay. Mel Gray, the deep man. And they kick it to him. Oh, he fumbles it, picks it up. Gets to the 20 and out of bounds. Ricky Reynolds was there to make the stop. So they're 80 yards away with 4:16 remaining in regulation time. Here's a look at the standings around the league. The Bears, as they did last year, off and running.
You know, remember, both of these teams are in the NFC Central, so this is even a more important game. Chicago right now looks like the class of the division. But Detroit and Tampa Bay, the winner here, kind of still in striking range. Mouse Davis, the offensive coordinator, on the headset.
They've got 80 yards to go for a touchdown. Peete has completed 7 passes in a row. Johnson goes wide right. That's 8 in a row. Greer to the 38-yard line. Terry Greer out of Alabama State. Ricky Reynolds on the stop. But a good completion and a good gain. And the run and shoot tonight, especially in the second half, has been most effective.
Well, you're right, Skip. And if there's ever the perfect time for the run and shoot, it's right now. Your team is down by 3 points. There's 3:50 remaining in the game. And you don't have to get all excited about running a hurry-up offense, because that's what you do all the time, is run the 2-minute drill.
3:41 remaining. A field goal can tie up for the Lions. James Wilder is in the backfield again. I wonder if Sanders is hurt. Peete. Complete. Near midfield. Johnson has run out of bounds.
They have to be thinking touchdown with all this time and still with 3 timeouts remaining. The other thing about a field goal, you have to remember Eddie Murray and that hip that we talked about, the injury that he has. If it's going to be a field goal, it's going to have to be a short-range one.
He made one from 42 that was disallowed because of a penalty, and they didn't try it from 10 yards further out. Vinny Testaverde looks on. He's quieted the Boo Birds in this second half. Wilder still the running back. From the 48-yard line, Johnson in motion to the left. Wilder gets about 4. There's Irvin Randall again. What a game he's had, especially in the second half. Mark Robinson helped him.
He really has, Irvin Randall, both rushing the passer and stopping the run. And I think if you're wondering why James Wilder is in the game at this point, I think one reason is he's a better blocker. And now Detroit is in a situation where they can't give up a sack.
Sanders is a good blocker for his size, but his lack of stature really hurts him. Guys can sort of jump over it.
Yeah, and that's what happened earlier in the game.
Johnson in motion right. 2:43 left. Peete rolls. He wants to run. Kurt Jarvis out of Alabama, the nose tackle with a hit.
See, that's about the 5th time that Kurt Jarvis right here just fights off a block, goes down the line of scrimmage, and stops Rodney Peete. This is supposed to be a little quarterback draw, but he just spins out of the block and makes the play.
3rd down, 9 yards to go. Lions have 2 timeouts remaining. Aubrey Matthews in motion. They go trips left. He goes for all of it, and he overthrows it. Robert Clark, the intended receiver. He had a step on his man, on Haden, but the pass too tall.
Yeah, this is what has been frustrating for Mouse Davis, because he says that every play in the run and shoot, we have a guy open. You just have to get him the ball. Number 82, right down the middle of the defense, past Wayne Haddix. And he had a good 2 steps on his man. And that should have been a score.
They're going to go for it here. Peete hit on 9 in a row till he missed that one. 2:06 left. 4th down, 9 yards to go. Matthews in motion. Incomplete. The Buccaneers have the ball. It was intended for Terry Greer. The pass was low. 2:01 remaining. But one big break here for the Lions. That play ends with 2:01 left. One play, then the 2-minute warning will stop the clock.
And really, Rodney Peete did have Terry Greer open there for the first down.
So now, of course, the Bucs would like to grind. If they can grind out 1 first down, they win the ball game. After this play, the 2-minute warning will surface. 2:01 left. A short gain there. It was Reggie Cobb with the ball, and the 2-minute warning is the result. We'll be back right after this. Tick with George Kennedy and Frederick Marsh later tonight on TNT. 2 minutes left. 2nd and 7. Cobb and Anderson are the setbacks. 2 timeouts left for Detroit. Anderson breaks 1 tackle, close to a first down.
Fumbled the ball 2 out of bounds. You know, you think back on Detroit going for it on 4th down, and I know that's going to be talked about an awful lot tomorrow in the Detroit papers. I don't think it's necessarily the wrong decision when Wayne Fontes and Mouse Davis have that kind of confidence in their offense. There were about 2 minutes remaining in the game, and let's face it, Tampa's offense this second half has been much different than it was in the first half, so I don't think it was necessarily the wrong call. They had Terry Greer open. They just didn't get him the ball.
Well, here's a huge play. It's 3rd and about 3. A timeout is called. That's the 2nd by the Lions. They have only 1 remaining. If Tampa Bay gets a first down here, it's history. Look at how the pace of the game offensively has picked up.
Well, it was a game of making adjustments by head coaches. Ray Perkins and Wayne Fontes, they did a much better job after halftime when they went and made adjustments for Tampa running the football and for the Lions throwing the ball. But this play here is perhaps the difference of going 2-1 or 1-2 here for both of these teams.
Well, now Harvey has gone back out of the game, and Anderson and Cobb are the running backs again. That's the setup for the Bucs. 3rd, a long 2 at the 42. 1:48 left. Flags fly. Let's see who it's on. He didn't get the first down.
Oh, boy.
Was it a staggered count by Testaverde that drew the Lions off, or was there movement?
Yep, I think so. That is a huge penalty.
Testaverde's clapping his hands, but I don't know if it's in happiness or anger. Let's see.
Offside. Defensive left side.
Oh, man.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Three key penalties have killed Detroit tonight. One on the long return by Gray, one on the field goal that was taken away, and this one right here.
Yeah. You know, in a short yardage situation, I'd say that is a terrific offensive call going on a long and a staggered count. But Wayne Fontes is upset because, again, this should be a tied ball game. But that field goal that Eddie Murray had kicked, there wasn't a penalty on it. It's a 23-23 ball game.
Cobb, the sole setback now. 2 tight ends in the game. 1:44 left. Cobb to the 35. A pickup of 3. And let's see if Detroit takes their final timeout. I'm sure they will. Obi Castone made the stop again.
And looking ahead, I think this is a tough task for Wayne Fontes to get his team back and emotionally ready to play next week. He said last night that this is a team that we're building. We're 2 or 3 years away. He says we can be successful this year, but I'm building this team. They've got to play the Packers next week. Packers coming off a loss, which is a very difficult situation you don't want to play a team coming off a loss, quite honestly. And for Ray Perkins, I think it's somewhat of a redemption. This is a big year for not only Vinny Testaverde, but also for Ray Perkins. His owner has said that he expects
11, right?
11 wins. I don't think they'll get 11, quite honestly, but I think they're a much more solid team than they were a year ago.
Second down, 8 yards to go. Detroit is out of timeouts. 1:38 left. 2 tight ends in the game. Reggie Cobb, the running back. Anderson is in there now as well. Anderson gets the ball and gets about 4, and the clock will run. It will be 3rd and 3. But we'll be down very close to a minute before Tampa Bay has to cut her loose again. William White, Jimmy Williams made the stop, but this must be the worst feeling in the world if you're a coach or a player watching that clock and being handcuffed. Anderson now has a touchdown, 16 carries, 70 yards. A fine night for him. He had sort of a tough time last week. Had a couple of fumbles, one early in the game that sort of turned it around.
Yeah, but he is certainly a welcome addition to this team. I say this is a pretty solid football team. Again, with more offensive firepower certainly than they had a year ago, and Vinny Testaverde doesn't have to do it all himself.
He milks the clock for just about all he can. Here's his hero, Anderson again. No first down. He stopped at the 30-yard line. Castone was there again. But now the clock continues to run. And Detroit cannot stop it. And the 3 penalties, I say again, killed them in this game. Taking nothing away from Tampa Bay's win, but Detroit really hurt themselves. Wayne Fontes has a job to do getting these guys ready. They came up with a fine effort. But Tampa Bay in 3 weeks has beaten the same team twice in a row, and that takes them to it. 23-20 Bucks. That's the final score from Tampa Bay, and the big crowd on their feet. Fontes and Perkins shake hands. We'll be in Phoenix next week where Washington plays.